The mark burned into the stone like a wound that refused to close. Kiara stared at it, her breath shallow, her chest aching as the fire beneath the ground thrashed in confusion. This was not the calm pulse she had learned to listen to. This was fire-pulled, twisted by intent. Naira stepped back slowly. "That symbol," she said. "Our elders spoke of it as a curse." Kiara lowered her head, forcing herself to breathe steadily. "It's not a curse. It's a command." She lifted her gaze. Someone is using the old knowledge without understanding the cost. The ground trembled again, sharper this time. Cracks raced outward from the mark, glowing briefly before fading. The fire was being stretched out to serve too many wills at once, far away. Simba felt it like a claw across his chest. He stopped mid-stride atop Pride Rock, eyes narrowing as the wind shifted. Rafiki joined him almost instantly. "The fire cries," Rafiki said. "Not in anger. In pain." Simba's jaw tightened. "She's too far." Rafiki's staff struck the stone once. Distance no longer matters. Blah. Back in the broken lands, Kiara followed the disturbance into a ravine carved deep into the earth, its walls blackened as if scorched long ago. The air inside was thick, heavy with old smoke and older memories. At the ravine's heart stood a lion. He was larger than most, his mane streaked with ash. Pause! His eyes reflecting the fire's glow with unsettling calm. Around him, symbols glimmered faintly half-formed, unstable. "You shouldn't be here," he said evenly. Kiara stepped forward without hesitation. "Neither should you." The lion studied her closely. "So, this is the fire-bearer everyone whispers about." Naira growled softly behind Kiara. "That's Dagon," she said. "A warlord. He vanished seasons ago." Dagon smiled. "I was listening." Kia felt it then, the difference. Dagon did not hear the fire. He commanded it, forcing ancient patterns into shape through will alone. "You're hurting the land," Kiara said. "The land has always been hurt," Dagon replied. "I'm giving it teeth." He lifted his paw. The ground obeyed violently, stone erupting upward, flames spiraling out of control. Kiara cried out as the fire surged against her, wild, desperate. "No," she whispered. "This isn't how it works." She closed her eyes, releasing control instead of tightening it. She remembered Rafiki's words. Remembered Ahadi's final lesson. The fire slowed. Dagon frowned. "What are you doing?" "Lesting," Kiara said. The flames bent away from her, lowering, calming. The ravine trembled once more, then stilled. Dagon's expression darkened. "You think restraint makes you stronger? It makes me responsible." Dagon laughed sharply. "Responsibility doesn't protect your people." He lunged. Kovu appeared in a blur of motion, slamming into Dagon's side, claws flashing. The two lions tumbled across the ravine floor, snarling, striking, the fire flaring wildly with every blow. "Stop!" Kiara shouted, but the fire responded only to the chaos. High above, storm clouds gathered unnaturally fast. At Pride Rock, Rafiki raised his staff, eyes glowing faintly. "It is time," he said. Simba didn't hesitate. He roared a sound that carried not through air, but through memory. The roar echoed across the land, through soil and stone, reaching Kiara like a hand on her shoulder. She gasped, feeling her father's presence steady her. "Enough!" Simba's voice rumbled through her mind. Kiara planted her paws firmly, standing between the fighting lions. She let the fire move through her, fully not controlled, not suppressed, but understood. The ground shuddered violently, then settled. Flames extinguished themselves, leaving only warmth. Dagon froze, panting, staring at her in disbelief. "You could rule everything," he said quietly. "Why choose limits?" Kiara met his gaze, exhaustion etched into every line of her face. "Because ruling everything is how it breaks." Dagon backed away slowly. For the first time, uncertainty flickered in his eyes. He turned and fled into the ravine's shadows, the stolen symbols unraveling behind him. The storm clouds dissipated. Silence followed deep, heavy silence. Kiara collapsed to her knees. Kovu rushed to her side, pressing close. Naira exhaled shakily. "You could have destroyed him." Kia shook her head. Bekunum, far away. The Whisperer watched from another unseen edge of the world. His form wavered, shadows thinning. "She survives again," he murmured. "But she learned something new each time." He smiled faintly. "Good." As dawn broke over the broken lands, Kiara stood once more, weary but resolute. The fire beneath the earth no longer thrashed it, flowed, cautious, learning alongside her. She looked toward the horizon, knowing this was only the beginning. Sharing balance meant facing those who would exploit it. Every choice would echo. Back at Pride Rock, Simba finally exhaled, the tension easing from his shoulders. "She's becoming more than a queen," Nala said softly beside him. Simba nodded. "She's becoming a guardian." Circle of life turned again nor back to what it was, but forward into something untested, uncertain, and alive. And beneath it all, the fire waited not to be claimed, but to be trusted. The broken lands did not sleep that night. Fires flickered in distant camps, not for warmth, but for watchfulness. Whispers moved faster than wind, carrying Kiara's name from ravine to ridge. From cracked riverbeds to stone dens carved into cliffs. Some spoke it with hope, others with fear, and some with hunger. Kiara felt it as she walked among them, the fire beneath the earth no longer calm, but alert. Not panic-tready. She had learned the difference now. The fire did not scream when danger came. It sharpened its attention. Naira walked beside her, ears twitching constantly. "Dagon won't disappear," she said quietly. "Lions like him don't retreat. They gather," Kiara nodded. "I know." They reached a rise overlooking the largest encampment of the broken clans. Lights, hyenas, and solitary predators stood apart in uneasy clusters. Survival had taught them independence, not unity. Kiara could feel the fractures between them as clearly as cracks in dry earth. She stepped forward anyway. "I won't command you," she said, her voice carrying farther than she expected. "And I won't promise miracles." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. "I will promise this," Kiara continued. "No land deserves to be forgotten. No story deserves to be buried until it becomes poison." An older hyena laughed bitterly. "Easy words from a queen with greenlands." Kiara turned to him without anger. "The Pride Lands were nearly destroyed by fear and silence. We survived because we learned to face them, not because we were stronger." Silence followed heavier this time. From the shadows at the edge of the gathering, a lion stepped forward. His mane was torn, one eye clouded with age. "If we follow you," he said slowly, "we paint targets on ourselves." Kiara met his gaze steadily. "You already live with them." The fire pulsed faintly beneath her paws, not flaring, not demanding. Simply present. One. Predators lowered their heads. Not all, but enough. Far away, Dagon watched from high ground, his breathing slow, controlled. He was no fool. He saw what Kiara offered on why it was dangerous. She didn't rule through fear. She made others believe they mattered. "That must be broken," he muttered. He turned to the figures gathering behind him. Exiles. Displaced kings. Creatures who had once ruled through force and lost it. Their eyes burned with resentment. She refuses crowns, Dagon said. So we will give her a war. Back her pride rog. Simba paced restlessly. The sky had been clear for days, yet unease hung over him like a storm that refused to form. Rafiki watched the horizon, staff humming faintly. The fire is spreading stories now, he said, not flames. Simba stopped. And stories bring listeners. Yes, Rafiki replied. And challengers. A sudden gust of wind swept across the rock, carrying with it a distant roar foreign, sharp, layered with many voices. Simba's ears flattened. That wasn't the wind. The attack came at dawn. Dagon's forces surged from the canyons in waves, not charging blindly, but coordinated lions flanking. Hyenas driving panic, smaller predators harrying the edges. They struck the broken lands camps, with precision meant to shatter morale, not conquer territory. Kiara woke to chaos. She sprang to her paws as the ground shook beneath charging bodies. Flames flickered wildly not from her, but from the earth responding to fear. No, she whispered. Not like this. She raced into the fray, dodging claws and snapping jaws, her voice rising above the noise. Hold your ground. Don't scatter. Some listened. Some ran. Dagon emerged through smoke and dust, his presence cutting through the battle like a blade. You see? He shouted. This is what your balance brings. Kiara faced him, chest heaving. You're proving nothing but your own emptiness. He lunged again, but this time, Kiara didn't meet force with force. She planted her paws and let the fire flow outward not as flame, but as pressure. The ground trembled, forcing space between fighters, breaking formations without burning flesh. The battle stalled, confused. Dagon snarled. You could end this. Yes, Kiara replied. And you could survive it. For a moment, hesitation flickered across his face. Then a roar thundered from the distance deep, commanding, unmistakable. Simba arrived with the Pride Lands. Lions poured in behind him, disciplined, united, moving not to dominate, but to protect. The sight alone shifted the battle's tide. Dagon's forces faltered, suddenly aware they were no longer hunting isolated survivors. Simba charged straight for Dagon, their collision shaking the ground. They grappled fiercely, power against experience, rage against resolve. Kiara watched, heart pounding, but she did not intervene. This was not her fight to steal. She sprang to her paws as the ground shook beneath charging bodies. Flames flickered wildly not from her, but from the earth responding to fear. No, she whispered. Not like this. She raced into the fray, dodging claws and snapping jaws, her voice rising above the noise. Hold your ground. Don't scatter. Some listened. Some ran. Dagon emerged through smoke and dust, his presence cutting through the battle like a blade. You see, he shouted. This is what your balance brings. Kiara faced him, chest heaving. You're proving nothing but your own emptiness. He lunged again, but this time, Kiara didn't meet force with force. She planted her paws and let the fire flow outward not as flame, but as pressure. The ground trembled, forcing space between fighters, breaking formations without burning flesh. The battle stalled, confused. Dagon snarled. You could end this. Yes, Kiara replied. And you could survive it. For a moment, hesitation flickered across his face. Then, a roar thundered from the distance deep, commanding, unmistakable. Simba arrived with the Pride Lands. Lions poured in behind him, disciplined, united, moving not to dominate, but to protect. The sight alone shifted the battle's tide. Dagon's forces faltered, suddenly aware they were no longer hunting isolated survivors. Simba charged straight for Dagon, their collision shaking the ground. They grappled fiercely, power against experience, rage against resolve. Kiara watched, heart pounding, but she did not intervene. This was not her fight to steal. The fire pulsed strongly now, not responding to fear or anger, but to alignment. It flowed beneath Simba and Kiara alike, steadying rather than amplifying. Dagon broke free, panting, eyes darting across the battlefield. His advantage was gone. "This isn't over," he snarled, backing away. "No," Simba said coldly. "It's decided." Dagon fled, his forces scattering behind him, the broken lands echoing with retreat rather than victory. As silence slowly returned, Kiara felt the exhaustion crash over her like a wave. She sank to the ground, trembling. Simba reached her, pressing his forehead to hers. "You did exactly what you needed to," he said softly. She exhaled shakily. "I don't want more battles." Simba smiled sadly. "Neither did I." Around them, survivors emerged cautiously. For the first time, Prideland's lions stood among broken lands, predators not as rulers or enemies, but allies. Naira approached Kiara, bowing her head. "Jitten, conquer us," she said. "You stood with us." Kiara swallowed. "That's the only way this works." Far from the battlefield, hidden in shadow, the Whisperer observed everything. His form flickered, unstable. "She draws strength from unity," he murmured. "Then unity must be fractured." He turned away, already weaving new threads. Because the fire had survived force, but trust. Trust was always easier to burn. Victo did not feel like triumph. As the sun climbed higher over the broken lands, it revealed scars the battle had left behind, torn earth. Injured bodies, frightened eyes watching from behind, stone and dust. Kiara moved among them quietly, her steps slow, her chest heavy. The fire beneath the ground was calm again, but it felt distant now, as if waiting to see what she would do next. Some of the broken clans looked at her with gratitude, others with doubt. That worried her more than anger ever could. Simba noticed it too. As Pridelands lions helped tend to the wounded, he watched the subtle distances forming the way conversations stopped when Kiara passed. The way glances lingered too long. Rafiki appeared beside him. "The Whisperer does not need claws," he said softly. "He needs questions." That night, the questions came. A young lion confronted Kiara near the campfires, his voice trembling with uncertainty. "Why does the fire listen to you and not us?" he asked. "If balance belongs to everyone, why does it choose one?" The fire stirred faintly beneath Kiara's paws, not in defense, but in awareness. She lowered herself to his level. "It doesn't choose me because I'm special," she said gently. "It responds because I don't try to own it." Murmurs spread through the crowd. Another voice followed. "Then what happens when you're gone?" The question struck deeper than any claw. Kiara didn't answer immediately. She couldn't, because for the first time, she realized the truth. The fire wasn't meant to follow her forever. And someone else already knew that. Far beyond the camps, beneath a sky stripped of stars, the Whisperer moved unseen among the edges of thought. He whispered not lies but possibilities. What if balance is just another name for control? What if peace depends on one lioness staying alive? What happens when she fails? The doubt spread faster than flames ever could. By morning, tension clung to the air like fog. Grips argued quietly. Old grudges resurfaced. The broken lands had survived battle, but trust was unraveling. Naira approached Kiara grimly. Someone is stirring fear, she said. Not openly, carefully. Kiara nodded. That was when Rafiki arrived. 2. He looked older somehow, his steps heavier, his staff no longer glowing. The fire grows quiet when fear grows loud, he said. And silence can be dangerous. Simba joined them. We can't force unity. No, Rafiki replied. But we can reveal truth. That evening, Kiara climbed a high ridge overlooking both camps' Bride Lands lions on one side, Broken Lands clans on the other. She stood alone. No guards, no fire summoned. I won't lead you forever, she said, her voice carrying clearly. And I won't pretend I should. Shock rippled through the gathered listeners. The Golden Kings failed because they believed balance needed guardians, Kiara continued. It doesn't. It needs honesty. She stepped back, pressing her paw into the stone. The fire responded, not erupting, but rising gently, forming images in the air. Not visions of power, but of mistakes. The Golden Kings arguing, Kiongozi standing alone. Lands burning because voices were ignored. Gasps echoed. This is what happens when one voice decides for all, Kiara said. Including mine. The fire dimmed again. You follow me, she said quietly. It won't be because I command the fire. It will be because you choose. Balance yourselves. Silence followed. Then something unexpected happened. A Broken Lands lion stepped forward and pressed his paw to the earth. Nothing happened. He frowned, then closed his eyes and breathed. The ground warmed slightly. A second lion tried, then another. The fire did not roar, but it answered. The whisperer screamed it aloud, but through the fracture of his own control. The fire was no longer centralized. It was no longer dependent. This wasn't the plan, he hissed, his shadow tearing apart. She was supposed to break instead. She was dissolving the throne. Days later, the camps changed. Not united, but connected. Small councils formed. Disputes settled without fire or force. The land healed slowly, naturally. Kiara prepared to return to the Pride Lands. Naira met her at the border. You won't be forgotten, she said. Kiara smiled sadly. That's exactly the point, as she walked away. The fire beneath the Broken Landser remained not bound to her presence, but steadied by many. Back at Pride Rock, Simba watched his daughter approach, with a heart full of emotions he struggled to name. You gave them away, he said softly. Kiara nodded, so no one could steal them. That night, the stars burned brighter than they had in generations. Mufasa's voice echoed gently. The circle turns because it is shared. And far away, wounded but not destroyed, the whisperer retreated into deeper shadows. He had lost the fire. But stories still feared being forgotten. And where fear lived, he would wait.